Here's a quick refresher on the things this rookie class has done. Cooper Flagg became the youngest player to score 40 points in a game and the youngest player to score 50 points in a game. Con Knippel shattered the rookie three-point record while shooting 42.9% from three, and VJ Edgecombe became a fan favorite in the notoriously friendly city of Philadelphia within 1 month. We could keep going and list every rookie that stole the spotlight for a few weeks, but you get the point. There's been a lot to talk about. But with everybody putting up historic numbers and extended minutes, the second overall pick in last year's draft was relatively overshadowed, not because he was underperforming. Dylan Harper was a strong contributor all year long, but on this Spurs team, Harper was never going to put up gaudy numbers because he was playing a role. He's been the third guard in a three-man rotation that's given backcourts across the league trouble. That's already extremely promising. Any rookie point guard who can be a high-level player for a 60-win team is on track to be a special player, but that's not why we made this video. We aren't here to talk about what he could be or what San Antonio could look like in a couple years. We're here to discuss the things Spurs fans have been screaming from the rooftops: Dylan Harper's midseason leap. Coming out of Rutgers, Dylan Harper's game still had some rough edges. His jump shot was a work in progress and his assist-to-turnover ratio wasn't exactly eye-popping. Athletically though, Harper has always jumped off the page. He's 6'5" with elite quickness, explosive vertical ability, and unusual play strength for a rookie. But the more you watch him, the more two things steal the spotlight: his handle and his composure. This play more or less sums up what's so special about both of those tools. In a tight game against Denver, Harper brings the ball up the floor with pace, and Tim Hardaway Jr. tries to respond by stopping the ball early to stun him, but Harper pulls out a wraparound dribble without missing a step. And then, when he gets to the lane, he slows down, Euro steps, and fights through contact to get the and one. A lot of NBA guards can handle pressure, and a decent amount of them can stay cool enough in the lane to maneuver through tight spaces, but very few of them are beating defenders with one quick move and then taking two slow steps into a three-point opportunity. And those flashes of stardom have been a regular occurrence this year. On the season, Harper's third on the team in drives per game and second on the team in field goal percentage on drives. He's got push dribbles to cut across his matchup's face in pick and roll situations, a lethal in and out to keep them off balance, and enough composure to adapt on the fly rather than rely on a planned move. Combine all of that with the aforementioned frame of a big guard and athleticism to build up the ridiculous highlight reel of dunks that Harper's put together in his rookie season, and the terrifying picture of his potential starts to come together. Early in the season, that was the story with San Antonio's rookie. He was egregiously talented, a poised creator who could get downhill at will and finish with authority or finesse when he got to the rim. And on top of that, he fit the defensive profile of the team. Harper's size gives him the ability to effectively wall off guards or switch onto taller wings, and his instincts have allowed him to create turnovers at a similar rate to his all-defensive counterpart, Stephon Castle. Even when he isn't leveraging his natural ability to cause havoc, Harper is able to contest shots effectively enough to slow down opposing scorers. Those are winning traits that make up an exceptional foundation for a young player, and based on the way they utilized him throughout the first half of the season, it seemed like the Spurs were fine with him being just that for the duration of his rookie season. They had the necessary depth in the backcourt to give him a longer runway for his development, and the plan was to take advantage of that. But in the second half of the season, Harper's gone from an exciting rookie to something else. And honestly, if we gave the comparison that's been sticking in our minds, the comments would call us crazy. So we're not going to do that yet. Instead, we're going to lay out the facts. Before the All-Star break, Dylan Harper was shooting 25.2% from three. Again, he wasn't supposed to be a great shooter out of college. So while this was limiting, it was also just part of the process for a guard like him. Realistically speaking, a 5 to 8% increase over the second half of the season would have been great, and a 10% increase would have been incredibly promising. But in the 24 games he's played since the break, Harper is shooting 49.3% from beyond the arc. Yes, his percentage has doubled, and in this last third of the season, he's shooting nearly 50% from deep. That is a literal nightmare scenario for Western Conference teams. As you can imagine, opponents have had no choice but to change the way they defend Harper. They're quicker to close out and a lot less generous with the airspace they used to give him. But that also means pressing up against a guard who came into the league as a renowned slasher with the ball on a string, and it's resulted in even more astounding numbers like this one. Since January 1st, Dylan Harper has been the second most efficient scorer on drives in the entire NBA. It's hard to overstate how abnormal that is for a rookie guard. On occasion, he makes that look like a result of obvious factors. On this play against the Kings, and yes, it still counts even though it's the Kings, Harper pump fakes from the corner, barely keeps his toes on the ground, and then does this. Maxime Reynaud's been great this season, by the way. But what is he supposed to do here? How can he even contest that? But he's got more in his arsenal around the rim rim than just rising up over everybody and dunking. This time he's going up against a great defender in Anthony Black, and at first it looks like a regular drive. He gets downhill and starts what looks like his patented spin move, which Black is ready for, but it's not the spin. It's some absurd double spin Penny Hardaway-esque step back. Anthony Black doesn't even really try to contest it, and it's hard to blame him, because he's probably never seen a move like that before. And then on some plays, all of it comes together. Mind you, this isn't a fast break. The Spurs are inbounding after Klay Thompson knocked down a jumper. The clock isn't ticking down, there's no 2-for-1 opportunity, and San Antonio doesn't really have numbers. But the Mavs defense isn't set, and that's enough for Dylan Harper to build up blistering speed while staying fully under control. He then uses his physicality to create space under the rim and still has the presence of mind to go up and under to avoid PJ Washington, who slid over to protect the rim. He's a hyper-efficient lefty who can get to the rim whenever he wants, counter with whichever completely original move he's been workshopping over the last couple months, or knock down the three when he's given too much space. And now that we've built up our case, we're not going to shy away from the comparison we hinted at in the beginning. And keep in mind, this isn't the first time we've said this, nor have we been the only people saying it, but this looks like a young James Harden. He probably won't take the same path that Harden took for a number of reasons. The first being, no one who plays for the Spurs is going to be as heliocentric as Harden was, and no one who plays with Wemby is going to run that many isolations. But in terms of creativity, strength, and skill, Harper's the closest thing we've seen to the beard since the 2009 draft. If we're wrong, we're wrong, and we'll own that 100%. We know it's inherently reckless to put a 20-year-old in his first year in the league on the same level as a former MVP, but we also don't want to be disingenuous or cowardly about what we're watching, because even though it's only been one season, we've seen enough to confidently say this: guards like this simply don't come around often, and when they do, they turn into household names sooner rather than later.